Well, good morning, and good morning. It is time for the John Lavenia Success Mastermind. It's Wednesday, 20th of October, and I'm your guy, Glen Henderson. Glad to be with you, and I know that we've got so many friends jumping in on Facebook, and I know many will be watching the recording after this, which is fantastic. So we're glad to have you with us. Let's take a quick peek, shall we, and have a look over at the calendar, the schedule for the this upcoming week. Well, we'll keep it to today for now. Let's see what's going on. What is happening today? Let's have a look. All right, yeah, we've got a couple of good things coming up today. Just after we get done with this conversation, we're in the hospitality suite starting 1 p.m. Come on and swing by and say hello. Books for Britain with our good friend Mandy Anderson at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And then tonight of all nights, I'll be back at 9 Eastern Time tonight with networking magic. You know, I was thinking about something, and it occurs to me that I haven't talked too often lately about lessons I've learned from this groovy little book, The Go-Giver. Ever heard of this book? You know, you hear people talk about the go-getter. You know, oh, she's a real hard charger. That Mandy, boy, I'll tell you, she gets things done. What a go-getter. Well, guess what? The Go-Giver. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that this evening. Hello, Mandy and Daisy. Hey, Daisy, long time no see. It's been forever. And I got to tell you, Daisy was part of the intrepid crew that met us out in Pahrump, Nevada last week for a little pew-pew therapy. And I'll tell you something. That Daisy's a crack shot. I got to tell you. Remind me not to ever make her mad, okay?
I'm
Bye.
laughing out loud, Glenn.
Hi, Gail. Nice to see. Have you done something else to your hair again? It's just such a variety of stuff going on. And yeah, Money Mama, what's happening? We missed you out there in Pahrump. I have a feeling. She could have given us all a shave and a haircut with her shooting skills. Miss Country Lady. I'm Miss Alabama Country Queen. Yes, indeed. Nice to see it. Well, I know there was some conversation last Friday. Did you happen to catch our show last Friday? The Mastermind. We had a great conversation, chatted a little. I know a number of people. I think Daisy was on there and kind of sharing her perspectives, her reactions to the fabulous, fun week we had. I think I stuck my head in the camera there for a second. And then the conversation that we had with our very own Godzilla, our own personal private Godzilla, John Lavenia, on our TV show, Networking Now. What a blast. What a tremendous chat that I had with our good friend John, covering a variety of subjects, as in the insightful and inspiring way that only John himself can. We had a blast. I wanted to talk a little bit about one of my personal learnings from last week. I have been sharing people with people back here in Houston since I'm home, and I showed Paula one of the targets that we were kind of using for practice during the session, one of the sessions there. And here was the whole idea. I don't know if this is going to creep you out or anything, but I figure we're all adults here. We can handle it. And hey, no one was injured during the performance of these exercises. So here was the exercise. If you can picture, I'm going to see if I can draw this up right quick while I'm sharing it with you. Yeah, and you all know what a wonderful artist I am. So I'm going to just draw a quick little like that. Okay. Does that look well? Let's see. Uh, now you're getting like a first-hand introduction to my drawing skills. Does that look anything like you might imagine an imaginary person, a silhouette of a person might look, more or less, or words to that effect? So, well, use your imagination. And now here was the other part of it. Now, if you picture that these are two on either side of this person, let's call them that person. On either side of the person, there was, you see, imagine that these are the heads of two hostage takers. Someone has been taken hostage by these two little skells here who are holding or kind of hiding behind this person's head. So the exercise was this. We had been training all week and learning different techniques and so forth. And one of the final exercises was, your loved one has been taken hostage. You have one chance, one shot to save your loved one's life. What do? You see the little box here? And the little box over there? That's where you got to put your shot in order to save the life of your loved one. What do? And now they brought it close to home. They brought it all the way home. Here's how they did it. They said, the instructors went across in front of the paper targets and they said, okay, now, give me the name of a loved one. Wow, it's about to get real now. So we write the name of a loved one. Okay, here's the name of somebody's loved one. I bet I know who. Right? This is the name of the loved one of one of our people here. And I won't mention any names, but the initials are Lindsay Dollar. That would be Lindsay's beloved there. Pick. Did I get it right this time, Lindsay? Pick. Okay.
Yep.
You got
Pick.
one shot. You got to save Pick. Your shot has to go inside that little box there, or inside that little box over there, for obvious reasons, as you can imagine, as you're using your imagination. It's what they refer to in the firearms industry as a designated headshot. And I won't say any more about that. I also won't show you the target that I used and my own personal results. It's none of your business. Anyway, I will say I did fairly well on that. Better than some, not as good as others. So anyhow, here's what happened. One of the things that happened to me, and I have shared this with people since I've come back. They said, well, what was it like, and especially people who don't have any experience with shooting, and with firearms and firearm safety and all that sort of thing. Well, what was it like? Well, I picked up two very important lessons. I brought two very important takeaways back with me. One of them has to do with, some technical stuff that I need to practice, things that I need to work on in my own technique. Here was the other thing that I learned from last week. And here is where I think the shooting class out in the middle of the desert in Pahrump, Nevada can have applications for all of us. See, you didn't know you were coming out there with us to learn a lesson, did you? Here's what I learned. One of the things that of which I was reminded last week. When it comes to shooting and firearms and firearm safety and techniques and, sort of all of these different topics around the main idea, the main topic, I don't know nothing. I'll clean it up. I'll keep it PG because this is a general interest kind of meeting. I'll say I don't know jack when it comes to these things. That is, I've so much more to learn. By the way, our good friend John, freaking expert. I'm just saying. So I learned, the primary lesson I learned is how much I still have to learn. We like to say it all the time. John likes to quote Socrates all the time, right? I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. And the thing that kept jumping out at me this week was that the more hey, Edward, good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Nice to see you, my friend. The more I learned about stance and grip and sighting, sight alignment and sight picture. I didn't even know what these things meant. I'd never heard these terms before. All of these things, all of these different techniques, sport shooting techniques, however you choose to apply them. The more I learned, the more I realized how little I know. Have you ever had that impression in your own life, in your own career, field of endeavor? You know, there are certain things we're good at, certain things where we can stand to improve, but even in those areas where we can kind of look at ourselves in the mirror and think, yeah, you know, I'm pretty good at this. I'm okay with this one. I've got some skills, right? And one of the instructors was reminding us about something that we've all heard about and which has been most commonly referred to as the Continuum of Competence. Have you heard of this? The Continuum of Competence. There are 4 stages in the Continuum of Competence. The first stage is unconscious incompetence. That is, that you don't even know what it is that you don't know that you don't know. Does that make sense? You don't even know that you don't know what you don't know. You have no clue. But it's a blank. And then you go to your first class or your first seminar, your first workshop. You go through your first coaching session. And eventually, as you learn a bit and pick up a bit of information, get about this much practice, rudiments of how to hold the blessed thing in your hand and sort of how to point it or something, and pew, wait a minute, where'd that one go, right? At some point, you reach a level, the second stage of in the continuum of competence, which is conscious incompetence. I have a very strong sense that is exactly where I am right now in terms of my firearm safety and my shooting skills and all of that stuff. I know good and well that I don't know jack. That's probably the best way I know to describe the stage that we refer to as conscious incompetence. You learn a little bit about your subject, your business, your technique, and maybe you're getting to enjoy it a little bit now. You're having some fun and you're learning more, and that's fun. That's always cool to learn more. But then you realize at the same time, you're reminded again and again how much you don't know, how much you still have to learn about your topic. And if it's something that you really enjoy doing, something where you have a high degree, where we have a high degree of motivation, a high degree of interest in the topic, we're going to tend to apply ourselves a little more, spend a little more time, work a little harder. I saw a quote years and years ago, and in that process, we learn more. We pick up more skills. We become a bit more competent. I heard a quote once from a famous a chemist. I think it was a Nobel Prize winning chemist, and the interviewer was saying, well, you've had a brilliant career, and what advice would you give to young scientists, people who are aspiring to be successful as a chemist as you are, as successful with a career in science as you have been. And what do you suppose the chemist's answer was? What do you suppose his answer was? Math skills, discipline. Okay. He might have said, I don't know, creativity, ability to work with people. I don't know. A basic foundation of scientific knowledge, whatever. Do you know what he said? He said, I believe the most important characteristic for a successful career as a scientist is a high degree of interest in science. What? That's it? Yeah. I believe the reason why I am going to get better as a shooter, in my firearm skills. I believe the reason I'm going to get better is because it is a topic that is now of considerably greater interest to me. I was interested before, it was always kind of a mysterious thing. I didn't really know any of the inside secrets, of how to really be a good shooter, how to hit the target every time. I knew there were people who did this, people who are experts, professionals in this field. You can't believe how good these instructors were. Holy moly. There's a and this is what I'm talking about, professionals. There's an effect in target shooting. If you're aiming at a particular spot, it's called stacking. What is stacking? Stacking means you have your proper grip, your stance, and everything. You line up, you take your shot, pow! Your shot hits the target. And you line up again, pow! And your second shot goes through the same hole as the first shot did. And then you aim a third time, and you think, pow! And your third shot goes through. You're putting holes in your holes. You're so good. These instructors were stacking all over the place. Unbelievable skills. Why? Yes, because they trained, because they practiced, because they dedicate hours and hours and hours on a daily basis to perfecting their technique, to honing their skills. You know why these guys get to be line coaches and instructors and senior instructors and range masters? You know why? Because they love it. Yes, they have a basic foundation of ability. Yes, they've developed and refined the requisite skills. Anybody can do that. To take our level of skill at whatever it is we're doing, at our day-to-day 9-to-5 job, at our home business, at our e-commerce, developing our e-commerce business, at writing that book, creating that training course, building that creating and building that podcast. It helps to love it. That's the final factor. If you don't love what you're doing, it feels like a job. And I don't know. I'm not really excited about the idea of having jobs anymore. So develop that. That's how these guys got to be so good, because how did they get to be such good shooters? They have a high degree of interest in shooting. Which brings us to the third stage in the continuum of competence, which is conscious competence. Think of something right now in your life that you're good at. You know you're good at it. You've got experience, you've put in the time, you've practiced, you've worked at it, you have produced a result. I used to think, I used to ask myself, well, Who am I to call myself an author? Oh, wait, that's right. I wrote a book. I'm an author. So, if there's one thing I know, if there's two things in this life that I know how to do, and I'm not saying I'm the world's greatest expert, there are many far better than me. If there are two things in this life that I would say I am conscious of my competence, that is, two things that I know how to do, and I know that I know how to do them. One is sing, the other is write books. You know why? You know how I know this? Because I've done them both in my life. And done them with, I don't know, some degree of success. What is that for you in your life? That thing, maybe it's more than one, great, that you are good at, you know you're good at it. Yes, of course, we have so much more to learn. But in this one moment, in this snapshot of time, you are good at this one thing. Doesn't that give you a sense of confidence? Doesn't it give you a sense of, okay, this one piece, out of all the flotsam and jetsam and the hustle and bustle and chaos of everyday experience, this one thing I know I can do. Celebrate that. Be happy. Be proud of yourself. We need to, in my opinion, celebrate ourselves a bit more. And not running around, check me out. I hate watching most NFL gridiron football games here in the U.S. Why? Because after virtually every routine, run-of-the-mill, average, non-critical, middle of the game, middle of the match, routine play, just about every player has to get up and dance and strut and preen and peacocking and doing the check me out dance. Hey man, I made a routine tackle. I can't even do it. I can't even imitate them because I find the whole practice offensively self-congratulatory. Oh my gosh, there's your $5 word for the day. Two of them. Offensively self-congratulatory. You know what I'm talking about, Lindsay. The money mama knows. She's watched a football game or two. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being able to walk down the street. Whatever your view is politically of guns and firearms and shooting and all of that stuff, there are people, these instructors that we met, who are able to walk down the street or maybe go to the mall or to church with their family or take on their regular activities of life holding within them the quiet knowledge that if something terrible were to happen in the street or some untoward incident, criminal incident, they have the knowledge and the skills to protect themselves and those they love. This is something whatever it is you're good at, cultivate that confidence, because it feels good to know that you're pretty good at something, doesn't it? So, hey, walk around with that and be proud of yourself. And, these guys out here who keep practicing and keep practicing. And I know that many of us will agree, we will all agree, that John has certain skills. This man could sell sand to Bedouins. You see what I'm saying? He's a master salesman, for one thing. And that brings us to the next level. The fourth stage in the continuum, which is unconscious competence. Well, here you go. There are certain things, certain areas of life in which every one of us has a degree of unconscious competence. I can get in my truck and load up my stuff, my briefcase, and the water thermos and everything. Excuse me. And jump in the truck and set off toward my destination and driving along. And have you ever had this experience? I know I have. Have you ever had this experience? You get in your car and you jump in and you head off toward your destination. And after about 15 minutes, you sort of come to and you realize, holy crap, how did I get here? Holy smoke, did I really get from all the way back there 15 miles ago to all the way up here? And I haven't even been thinking about the lights and the changing lanes and all. I was thinking about that project that I got to get done when I arrive at the office. And I didn't think about the fact that I needed to turn the key and then put my foot on the brake and put the vehicle in gear and turn and look and go this way. And okay, I want to go that way. I must turn the wheel a certain number of degrees, sufficient to move the vehicle far enough to get into the next lane, but then readjust the wheel back so that it doesn't go too far, all the while balancing the amount of pressure that I'm putting on the gas pedal so that I don't bump into the vehicle. And by the way, how do I know the distance and how am I able to judge the distance to the vehicle in front of me so that I gauge the speed of my own vehicle and apply pressure to the brake if I need to, sufficient amount of pressure to prevent it from hitting the vehicle in front of me, but not so much pressure that my loved one in the passenger seat isn't thrown through the windshield. So I need to, and how do I, and meanwhile, there's 150 other vehicles on the road, and I need to keep my eyes out and be aware of this guy who's getting a little closer on this side. Wait a minute, what about the gas pedal and the wheel? Did you think about any of that? You were thinking the whole time about the project you got to complete when you get to the office. Unconscious competence in driving. And every one of us has an area in our life where if we were to apply time and interest, enthusiasm for the topic, sufficient practice, learning, more practice, more time. Malcolm Gladwell in his book Outliers refers to 10,000 hours in order to become an expert or a professional in any topic or any discipline or skill. He's conducted studies over the years of people who have achieved that level of professional, shall we say, professional level skill in any discipline. It has generally taken them roughly 10,000 hours of doing that thing in order to become an. Notice I did not say 10,000 hours of reading about doing that thing. Not 10,000 hours of studying how to do that thing. Not 10,000 hours of thinking about doing that thing. 10,000 hours of doing the thing. Or perhaps 10,000 repetitions of the action. You want to be really, really good at selling stuff over the phone? Make 10,000 phone calls. You want to be really, really good at singing songs? Sing 10,000 songs. I think I've probably sung 10,000 songs in my life. You want to be really, really good at throwing a baseball, kicking a football? Throw it 10,000 times. Bruce Lee, one of the greatest, what am I talking about? The greatest martial arts star of all time, martial arts action star of all time, once said, "I do not fear the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks one time, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." So what is that thing you want to be good at? Get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? 10,000 times. It may take you fewer than that. It may take you more than that. I don't know. We're all different. Here's what I know. Practice. Practice. Find that thing that you love. Practice. Good to see you, Gail. Find that thing that you love and learn all you can. Practice as much as you can. Continue to realize how much you have yet to learn and dedicate yourself to learning and practice. Listen, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to reveal a bit of my afternoon plans. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to the shooting range. Why? Because it is now a topic of intense interest to me. And I'm really interested in getting better. So I'm going to. What are you doing right after this? It's up to you. Unconscious incompetence. I don't even know that I don't know what I don't know. I'm completely ignorant. Now, by ignorant, I don't mean stupid. I don't mean, right? Yeah, it's not an insult. Ignorant means there is a body of knowledge in this topic that I simply don't have. And I don't even know the magnitude of the body of knowledge that I don't have. That's where I was when I landed in Pahrump on Monday morning at the Training Institute. Then, conscious incompetence. Oh my gosh. Man, I don't know, Jack. I have so much to... There is this much knowledge. There's this much knowledge, and I have this much. Man, I've got a lot to learn. Conscious incompetence. Then there's conscious competence. Pew! Hey, I hit the target. Pew, pew! Hit the target a couple more times. Hey, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, this is cool. I'm getting a little better at this. Pow, pow. Hey, hit the target 5 times in a row. Way to go, Glenn. Yeah, I'm getting good at this. Conscious competence. Maybe yours is a little more developed than that. Maybe there's something, of course there is. There's something you're good at, you know you're good at it, and you feel that confidence. Excellent. Unconscious competence. You've already made the 10,000 phone calls. There is nothing that anyone can say to you that will shake your belief in what you're doing, what you have to offer. You've heard all the responses, you've answered all the questions, you've addressed all the objections that might ever come your way. And because really there's only a few. We'll talk about that sometime. There's really only a few objections to any product, service, offer, business opportunity. There's only a few objections. We'll address them at some point. And you can take a phone call from a dead sleep in the middle of the night and be able to have a coherent conversation with this prospective business partner. Why? Because you've done it 10,000 times. It's like breathing now. You don't even have to think about it anymore. Boy, how cool is that? How cool is it to be able to sell like John, huh? I'm telling you what, we can all get there. John isn't anything special. He's a great guy. He's not anything special, really. And I think he would agree. I don't believe I'm telling tales out of school. John would say, I'm no remarkable superhuman. I just have been doing this thing a long time, and I've worked at it, and I've studied it, and I've practiced it, and I've made 10,000 phone calls. Which part of that is something that you can't do? So, one more time. Unconscious incompetence. Conscious incompetence. Conscious competence. Unconscious incompetence. Let's get started on the 10,000 phone calls. What do you say? Let's get started on the 10,000 shots, on the 10,000 songs, on the 10,000 emails, whatever it is. Let's get started and see how we learn, see how we grow. I'm done. What say you, my friends? I'm going to drink a little bit here. All right. It's a vitamin C drink. What are you trying to do? It's not even noon yet. That's nice. I can see wheels turning over here with Mandy. She's thinking about stuff. She's considering, okay, how do I this makes so much sense. How can I apply this? I get it. And that's why I'm well, frankly, that's why I'm going to the range as soon as we're done here. Because I've figured out, and when I get back from the range, I'm going to be picking this darn thing up, making a few phone calls. Why? Because you you develop that interest, and the skills will come with practice. Mandy, you've organized your thoughts. What say you, my friend?
I have organised them just about. Yeah, hello, Glenn. I love things like this sort of information. Um, I think we read about it in a book once, didn't we? But anyway, I'm going through certain parts of this area and have been for the last couple of months. So moving around it, but so I'll explain a bit more. So basically, my unconscious competence in the past has probably been in certain areas of Excel and IT systems. So I have a love of IT and any sort of system and learning them. So with launching my IT business, not my IT business, my reporting business, so reporting for e-commerce sellers, um, I needed to see where the reporting business was in the world, because I was doing something before called Crystal, which was basically writing reports from scratch in sort of SQL language, but you don't need to know the SQL, you can do it with it. But that's moved on from there, because now they've got things like Power BI in Microsoft, and then you have to do dashboards in Excel. So I started off with that when I was thinking about it. Okay, so I'm now in the unconscious incompetence. I don't know what I don't know about where things move forward, but I know that crystal of what I know, I need to take what I know from it and apply it somewhere else. So then I found out the information of what was out there to do the courses and everything that I've been working through to get to the level of conscious incompetence. So I know which ones I've got to go and look for and do. So I've been working through those. And then, so I'm getting to the stage where I'm at the stage where it's conscious competence. And obviously, with already knowing the Excel, it's just tagging bits onto that. But it's going to be going between that and getting to the point of being unconscious competence is where I'm aiming to get to. And so, like you say, it's doing all the practice and creating reports and doing everything to get better and better at the particular reports you have to do. But I love that. So I'm just going to have to keep doing 10,000 of them. So you know it, but as you're doing it as well, as you launch your business and as you're doing them, you're also doing those things. So when you start, you're not always going to be unconscious competence, are you? Because you start, and then as with a business, you move towards it. As long as you can do what you need to do at a level, then you'll become better.
Yes, yeah, and you mentioned something really interesting in transitioning from the previous technology into Excel, and then even beyond, and applying. You said applying. Well, it's applying what? Applying what you've already learned, and you now know you're good enough at this. You know how to learn the new skill. You know where to look because you've applied yourself and you worked so hard in the previous technology
Yeah.
that you have a basis of understanding. You have in the first level, you
Yeah.
have an unconscious competence. You know that stuff like the back of your hand. This stuff over here that I don't know yet, cool, that's no problem. I'll just apply what I've learned here, and before I know it,
Yeah.
you see, and that comes from the high degree of interest. You said it yourself.
Yes.
I love this stuff.
Yeah. I'm sad, but yeah, I do.
Yeah, there you go. See, thank you, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you.
you're living, breathing proof of this. You're applying it in your own life, and it's fantastic.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. So in my case, I'm oh boy, just launched a new business. Another one. You believe this? Another one. Uh, shall I tell you? Because we're official now. It's the LLC is public. Is now public information. A buddy of mine who I met through BNI, one my networking referral business referral organization. He and I met through that, and he approached me about partnering up in a business. Okay, you ready for this? We have now formed a company where our business, our product, is the design, production and sale of large format commercial grade barbecue smokers. Holy moly. I can see Mandy's salivating already. Oh my gosh. Gotta have it. Okay. And here's where this comes into play for me. You want to take a guess? You want to hazard a guess at how much I know about designing and building large format commercial grade barbecue smokers? Not a, I'll clean this up too. Not a gosh darn freaking thing do I know about designing and building large format commercial grade. I'll tell you who does know is my buddy, my new business partner, and our third business partner who's a professional welder. You know what I know? I know marketing. I know a little something about marketing. I know a little something about promotions. I know a little something about making connections and building relationships, and don't nothing get done without somebody knows a guy. That I know something about. So this is really going to be. Oh, by the way, have I mentioned that within 72 hours of the LLC going official, we already sold 5 smokers. What? Well, it turns out there's a huge market for this, and so I'll get if anybody's interested. I'm not here to promote that. If anybody's interested in that, anybody here in the U.S. of A., do we ship overseas? I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, my point is that I don't know. I really don't know anything about this field, particularly, and from a technical standpoint. But I know people who do, and I'm really interested in learning more. You know why? Because I love me some barbecue. And I know there's a lot of people out there in this great country of ours and big wide world who love them some barbecue too, and would be willing, as some have already demonstrated, to pay a fair amount of money in order to be able to create some good barbecue. So here we go. Currently, I am in which phase am I in? Quickie quiz class? Which phase in the barbecue smoker business? Which phase is Glen in? Yep, you guessed it. Unconscious incompetence. I don't even know the scope, the scale of what I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to find out. We shall see. Well, I'm going to be really kind and generous and give you back. Listen, Mandy, you can put vegetables on smokers too.
Yeah, I thought you probably could. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about this? You take a big old, what I don't know what you call them in the UK, butternut squash. Take a butternut squash about yay big, slice it down the middle lengthwise. Maybe a little olive oil or butter or whatever you want to do it. Slap that baby on the grill. Let that smoke for I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour.
Wow. The only thing we're missing is the weather.
It comes off. Sprinkle it slather it with some butter, maybe a little brown sugar. Oh my goodness. Make you want to slap somebody so good.
Sounds lovely.
So yes, vegetarian food? Heck yeah. I have a feeling that Lindsay and I are going to be having a conversation about this at some point. Listen, you guys, we're going to give you back 16 minutes of your life. How about that? Get on with our busy. Yes, Lindsay's saying barbecue. Heck yeah. Barbecue. Heck yeah. Right? I cleaned that one up too. Do you see what I did there? You see what I did?
I stayed silent, so I didn't have to.
Thank you all so much for spending the time. Remember, again, right after this, the hospitality suite, meet and greet, hang out, have a chat, 3 p.m. Eastern. Books for Britain with our good Fred. Have we completed Integrity is Everything? We on to the next book?
We're finishing that tonight.
Excellent. Finishing the thrilling conclusion.
Yeah.
Integrity is Everything by some dude named Lavinia. Y'all heard of him? Anyway, and then tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, it's the Networking Magic. Yes, indeed. We'll be glad to see you. Great to have you with us for a few minutes here today. Get on about your day and make it a great one, because you know good and well you absolutely deserve it. Let's get started on that 10,000. What do you say? Have a good one. Live long and prosper, my friends. Shall see you again soon. Bye for now.